What's up, everybody? Welcome back to part 2 of our Why We Love Scary Games episode.
Most downloads ever, except that we're doing a YouTube podcast, so there are no downloads. Most subscribers ever, most views ever.
You're supposed to be on this download thing. We actually had somebody actually asked me if we're trying to get this on MP3 format.
Oh, wonderful.
So we're trying to figure that out. That's Dez's only job, and he has not yet done it. Big hand.
Yeah. I'm in the middle of midterms and stuff.
He's a busy guy, so you
I'm
have to
in
wait.
College.
Right. So obviously sitting across from me, as always, Dezrah.
And sitting across from me is Brian Paul.
Who's here to pimp the Patreon page.
Yes. Patreon.
We
love Patreon.
With my dashing good looks. If you'd like to see more of my good looks, go to patreon.com/withoutparole games and throw us a few bucks. Otherwise, you'll just get my good looks for free.
So does that mean you're going to be sending scantily clad pictures of yourself to our Patreon subscribers?
I already do.
Oh, okay.
Except I just give them to everybody.
So how much do they have to pay to not get the pictures?
like $100.
Okay.
Yeah. Dick pics for everybody except for the high tier subscribers.
Yeah. That actually could work.
Okay. And the mature tag's already gone up.
Yeah.
All right. So this is part 2 of our Scary Games episode. I think it was your turn where we left off.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah, we can do that. Sure.
I don't know what's going on
Well, we
anymore.
did want to, I guess.
Oh, geez. I think it might be my turn.
Yeah, you can go.
I have so many games to talk about. Yeah. This is my favorite genre of game, and that's why I have so much to talk about.
Yes.
All right. So let's get this one out of the way. During the 2014 Gamescom press conference, Sony's press conference, this was an amazing press conference already, but what they showed was a video of people reacting to a game, and it was people freaking out.
See, I would say that's usually a warning sign. When you see that, like a movie trailer, the trailer of people like, oh, that was so scary, that's always a warning sign. But,
well, let me tell you, inaccurate. It was a very scary game that they were calling PT. They said, you can download this right now on PlayStation 4, right? And I will tell you this. I, of course, immediately after the press conference went on my PlayStation 4, downloaded PT, and no one knew what PT stood for. No one knew what this game was about, and we didn't know even what we were doing. It was so confusing, and you started off and you end up going down this hallway in first-person perspective, and the graphics are like photorealistic. And you talk about immersion in a game, this is immersive because the hallway's so narrow and the playfield is so limited that it was obviously much easier for the developer to make it photorealistic.
Yeah.
You just felt like you were like trapped. And so you get to the end of the hallway, it's basically an L. And when you get to the end of it, you go down the stairs, you open a door, and suddenly you're at the beginning of the hallway again. And it's this endless loop. But every time you go through the loop, little things are changing, and you're just trying to pay attention to every single detail you see because you got to figure out what the heck's going on here. Now, I had never seen this before. There was the forums online. Anybody in a chat room, anybody that was doing anything video game related was obsessed with PT.
Yeah.
All night for like 2 days straight. I remember going and talking to Mike Zeller and being like, dude, you got to download this thing. You got to try it. It is insane. I don't know what's going on. I feel like it came from the netherworld or something because there's so many. It's like this gigantic mystery. No one even knows who made the game. They were saying that 7780S or 7780s Studio developed it. But all that was a pseudonym for Kojima Productions because this was made by Hideo Kojima, Guillermo del Toro, and this was basically what they were doing was making a playable teaser, PT, for their new game, Silent Hills, which was the reboot of the Silent Hill franchise. Who's the famous guy that's in Walking Dead? Norman Reedus, right?
Yes.
He was actually in this game too.
Wow.
So,
that's some big brains.
History kind of speaks for itself on this one. There's Kojima had his massive falling out with Konami. Obviously, Kojima does not own the rights to Silent Hill, and now this game is never getting made. Not in the way it was going to be, at least. So, even worse than that, the demo or the PT proper is no longer available for download. So, if you didn't download it before a certain date,
it's forever
forever gone. and if you delete it off your system, you cannot get it back. So you'll often see PlayStation 4s going on eBay with PT installed, going for ridiculous sums of money.
And this is like where urban myths are built.
Yeah,
right here. I played PT. I remember playing it on this. Yeah.
Yeah. The scary thing about this, and the game itself was scary, and just creepy as all hell. You'd hear like these noises, and I remember. There was a radio on at one point, and suddenly you're like listening to the radio. You're just sitting there, and you lean in closer, and you're listening, and the voice on the radio is telling this story about a guy, I think, who murdered his family or something, and you're kind of intrigued,
as you do,
right? And then out of nowhere, the guy on the radio goes, "Don't look behind you." And then you're like, "Oh my god, I gotta look behind me." And you do. You turn around, and there's something, and it freaks you out. And you go look in a door that's open just a crack, and then this ghost of some sort just appears and slams the door shut. These are jump scares, but they're so well crafted that this is probably my favorite scary game of all time, and it's not a game.
Awesome.
It was just supposed to be like an artistic representation of what they wanted Silent Hills to be like. This wasn't even supposed to be included in the game.
So that's fantastic. So hey, we had this game that, the way you describe it, it sounds like its existence is a ghost story in of itself. It's this game that you could only get at a certain time, at a certain place.
Yeah,
that's great.
It is great.
I like that.
My real fear is that eventually everybody's PlayStation 4 will die eventually, and will Konami release this again so that you can play it someday?
I'm sure there's some way some hacker has figured out some way to do this. There's very, very few times where there's a no on the internet. So someone's worked out something. Sure.
But if you have
leave it in the comments.
If you have the ability to play it, absolutely play it. It's super convoluted. The game doesn't tell you anything, so you're constantly looking. You can push in, I believe, the right analog stick to kind of zoom in on things, and that's actually a mechanic that the game doesn't tell you need to do. It's not just for examining things. It's for almost picking things up or adding them to your memory.
Okay.
The whole thing is so weird, and that's why the forums were such a blaze that night.
Yeah.
Because everyone was working together to figure all this stuff out. It was
cool.
Unbelievable. At one point, you even have to go into the pause menu and zoom in somewhere in there to find the clue. The whole thing was super creepy, and I hope that Kojima and Guillermo del Toro find a way to work together again. And if it's not Silent Hills, I don't care. They need to make a first-person scary game, because they were onto something, and it was good.
Yeah, that sounds great. And then actually, the no instructions thing kind of brings me back to going back to Limbo from last episode. That was one thing I love too. Nothing actually explains how you. Wow, I'm going to try that sentence again. There is nothing that actually explains what you're supposed to do, how you're supposed to move. One of the design elements was no, we don't want any text on there at all.
There you go.
You have to figure it out, and of course you figure it out by dialogue.
Yeah, not having a HUD on the screen absolutely helps with immersion.
Well, speaking about not having HUDs, so HUD is actually, we want to take a serious moment to talk about HUD. It is a sexually transmitted disease.
HUD.
HUD.
Oh, maybe that's what I have. There's been a lot of itching.
Yeah. Good news is there is a vaccine for it. Bad news is it takes 13 shots. Never mind. We already have a mature tag. Yes, so HUD is actually a heads-up display, and it is a central part of gaming.
Do you think my neck could itch from an STD?
Yes, actually it could.
Okay.
Yeah.
You started it.
I did.
Okay.
I did. I know.
Why are we talking about HUDs?
We're talking about HUDs because it's the very easiest way to get information across to a user. If you don't know what HUD means,
I know what you're about to talk about, and I'm so excited.
It's a heads-up display. It's basically like your little health bar at the top, your ammo here, maybe a little directional thing here, a mini map, and so on. It's basically information your character needs.
Mini map.
So there was a game that came out that said, you know what? That's all well and good, but that's going to take people out of the game. And again, if you want to make a scary game, what do you need? Everyone together, immersion.
Did you say it at home? Did you play along with Des? Did you?
I'm feeling immersed in your love. Thank you.
Did you?
And you said it, and you said it. They never said Dezrah.
Oh.
Romper room with the magic mirror. I see Bobby and Sally. Yeah, no one ever says Dezrah. Anyways, so we're doing everything we can to not talk about this game, Dead Space.
Oh, it's been playing for like an hour back here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of ruins the reveal.
Okay, well, I'll edit it out.
Yeah, I mean, it's the simplest idea. Just get rid of all that stuff. We still get the information we need. Your player, you can have your health bar is on the back of his back of his uniform. Along his spine, there's lights. Less health, less lights. How do I know how much ammo I have? Hey, how would you do what they do in the real world? Look at your weapon. Actually, we don't even have that yet. But so all your ammunition is on the weapon. How do you interact with objects? What if I can't? How can I read a menu screen? Well, you know what? You just walk in front. A little holographic projection comes off the thing, and there's your menu screens.
Yeah, it was awesome.
It seems like such a simple idea, but it was so brilliantly executed in this. And another thing I love, again, from a shooter background, you get in a situation, you're like, oh, crazy, you know what? I don't know what to do right now. I'm going to hit pause and go into my inventory screen, give myself a breather, move things around, and then I can jump back. No, you can go into an inventory screen. You can switch your weapons around, but the game doesn't stop. If you are being attacked and you're fumbling through your weapons, well, in the real world, if you're being attacked by something, they're like, oh, you're trying to switch ammo? Cool. Yep. All right, hang out.
Yeah, no problem.
Are you good? All right, let's go.
Yeah, so you got to be real careful that you've cleared out the room first.
Absolutely.
Nothing's on the way in, and then you can have a little time to yourself.
Yeah, and this is, going, it is survival horror, I guess.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You can't just walk in with your cool super gun and just shoot people. Your main character is Isaac Clarke, which
some mental problems that guy has.
A little bit. Yeah.
His girlfriend, man, scarred him for life.
At least.
Now, boys and girls, don't mess with girls.
We're getting close to spoiler territory here.
I didn't say anything about the marker. Oh, yeah, anyway.
The Sharpies. Sharpies play a really big role in this game. It's very strange. Through all this reality and immersion, all of a sudden, there's these Sharpies product placements. It's awful.
No, he's just kidding. I will not spoil anything about this. I love the enemies in this game.
Yeah, they're so creative. So many, horror games, survival games. Oh, it's a zombie. Oh, it's a slightly different zombie. There's another zombie. There's just massively disgusting and awful, and just necromorphs. That's the disease / religion / whatever,
Religion. No, man, you just brought back so many memories.
Yeah. And so one. I guess we'll finish that thought first. They're awful. They're disgusting. They're gross. They all move in these horrible ways that things made of mangled flesh would move. And that's actually a key to how to defeat them in this game, because you can't just walk up, hey, headshot, because their heads don't really do anything anymore.
Yeah.
You need to selectively cut off limbs. And
you're decapitating the enemies.
It's like this thing is running at me, so I'm going to use my arc welder and just zap off one of the legs, and hopefully won't move quite as fast while I figure out how to actually stop it.
You can always, and when you're in a room, before anything jumps out, before you get that jump scare, you walk in and things are quiet, but then you start hearing them in the walls. So you almost know before it happens. You just don't know when it's going to happen, that they're going to bust open a vent and come at you.
Yeah.
There is a solid buildup before that jump scare happens, and man, it's almost a relief when it does, because you're like,
at least now I know how I'm going to die.
Right. I don't know how many enemies there are, what I have to do. It's it's stressful up to that point.
And so if you want to go really in depth in the story, and this is a game, there's so many games, even some games I love, where the storyline doesn't really have that much to it. It's really exciting, really fun, but if you really want to go in depth and find out the background of what's happening, Dead Space is a series where there are comics, there are books, there are comics and books written by the creators. And here's the important thing. If you are a comics fan, these names should mean something to you. Warren Ellis, Rick Remender, and Anthony Johnson. These are the people who wrote the script to this game. Now, Warren Ellis is the creator of two of my favorite comics of all time, Transmetropolitan and Planetary. Rick Remender is a creator of probably the third in that list, called Fear Agent. Anthony Johnson, I don't know so much. He created a post-apocalyptic story called Wasteland, which I definitely want to check out. But these are three of the most creative and twisted and wonderful minds in creating comics today. And they teamed up to make the backstory and the plot for this game. Yeah. So you have amazing graphics and graphics that stand up till today. Like you can pop in Dead Space, which came out in 2008, so 8 years ago, and it rivals stuff that's on for current gen consoles.
I remember. So here's the thing: when I had to wait until the PlayStation 3 Slim came out before I could afford it, because that was a big price drop at that point. It was $300. Mm-hmm. Also, it came out, I believe, the same day as like Batman: Arkham Asylum. So that was a big day for me. I got both of those at the same time. And I remember I had to wait for GameStop to get me something, so I like wandered across the street to Target, and I saw, while I was waiting to get my PlayStation 3, they had Dead Space 1, which I knew nothing about, because of course I hadn't had a PlayStation yet, and it was like on clearance for $12, and I was like, well, it looks like a scary game, I might as well buy it, it's probably throwaway garbage. And when I played, I remember the game like releasing control to you, and I was so blown away by the graphics that I didn't even know I was able to play yet, because
it looks like a cutscene.
It looks like a cutscene, and then when I was moving around, I was like, something's up. Like, how they're playing some kind of trick on me. Like, how I can't really be controlling this. It's too good looking, and the whole game really stands up to that level.
Yeah, I mean, we want to talk again. My two, immersion and dread. Those are my themes for my games. Dead Space nails both of those.
Absolutely.
Again, not to belabor the point, by stripping out the HUD, by giving you, and your weapons, your character is an engineer. Okay, he's not some huge combat-hardened space marine with clip full of plasma or whatever. He's got a saw. Okay, there's big technical name for it, but it's a saw.
Yep.
He's got a plasma torch. He has something he kind of half-asses into a flamethrower. But it's, kind of realistically what this guy would have if he was trapped on this derelict ship. I mean, his job is to go in and kind of try to repair the life support on the ships to make plot move along, and then we're getting to spoilers. So it's not like he's walking around, with the BFG or anything.
Right.
He's just an engineer who's going to try to survive his way through this horrific experience. And going to the character design, this is something I didn't know before I looked at this. The people who are creating the monsters, creating the necromorphs, they actually, their source material, they looked at videos and photo of car crash, like really bad car crash victims and war scenes. So they were basically going through like the depths of bad things happening to human bodies for their inspiration for the necromorphs, and it absolutely shows.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
The one downside, of course, is that if you really, really enjoyed Dead Space, you may enjoy Dead Space 2. It's almost as good. They do messed up things psychologically, but you will absolutely not enjoy Dead Space 3. I think it's just a horrible, horrible misrepresentation of the series. They went down, I don't know why they did this, but they tried to make it into a third-person shooter. It was a big mess, and it never looked as good as the first one did.
No, and it takes away all the things that make the first one so unique and interesting. And it's like, well, that was cool, but we want to give them guns.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, that's not the point. There are other games that do that. There are tens of thousands of other games that do that. But
so just to move things along, I want to talk about a game that has a sequel coming soon. Ooh. This is Outlast. Yep. Now, Outlast, of course, came out on PC first, and then eventually made its way over in 2014 to my preferred platforms, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. This is about a reporter going first-person mode into a psychiatric hospital. And when I say the inmates have taken over the asylum, they absolutely have.
Really taken over the asylum.
It's insane. Now, this game has a ton of blood and a ton of gore, but that's not what makes it scary. It manages to do both things very, very well. Right. The blood and the gore and all the dead bodies everywhere, it just sets the tone for even worse things to come. I remember I was playing this game for the first time, and it strangely gives you a jump button. So you're outside of the asylum. At first you drive up in your Jeep or something, and then you have to like kind of sneak in. And you end up like basically going up the scaffolding to get into an open window up on the second or third floor. And there is platforming. You look down, and for the first time for me in a first-person adventure game or first-person anything game, I saw my feet, right? Which is actually important in this game because you need to know where you're landing. Which is weird because it actually makes you feel like a person. Again, immersion. We're going to keep saying this word over and over. And
almost as if it's important to the genre.
right, so you sneak into this open window, and it's pitch black. Now you have a camcorder, a video camera, to document the things you see. As a journalist, you're supposed to be.
Oh yes, this game. Okay, I was blanking the whole time. Yes, all right.
Yeah,
Yes.
And the thing about the camera is that you need to be filming certain events to kind of document them, but more importantly, in the pitch dark, you don't have a flashlight. You only have the night vision on the camera.
Right.
So everything's like big
green,
big bright and green.
Yes.
So yeah, that's it's strange because, of course, with any camera, this one included, we know how quickly the batteries run out. I see the little flashing icon. No. You need to go around this place collecting batteries, and you're deathly afraid to use the one thing that helps you see in the dark because you're scared to use the batteries.
Yeah.
And I think that right there, that's survival horror. You can't fight back in this game. There's some scripted events that have you fighting back, but mostly you're just hiding in lockers. You're hiding under beds.
It's starting to sound familiar, almost as if we talked about a game that was like this earlier.
But actually,
I just can't remember what it was.
it's funny that this game took something from Amnesia because you actually you'll click the button to open a door, and then you have control of how fast or slow you open that door.
Okay.
And you can actually, I think you use the triggers to peek around corners.
Gotcha.
And it's all very effective. And
If you're gonna steal from the best. So
yeah. So the first time you really encounter the bad guys, which are obviously the inmates, they all seem real sedated. If I remember, there's a room very early on in the game, so this isn't real spoiler territory. They're all, there's like a group of them, and they're all sitting strewn around this room watching TV, which of course is just static, and they're staring at it like they're all just super drugged out, right? And you're like scared to pass in front of them, between them and the TV, and it's just like,
understandably,
like my heart's pounding.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I gonna get killed by doing this? And oh man, it's so crazy because they set up the environment. They set up the I want to say the ambience, I guess, to say, okay, these guys are scary, but they're not a threat. And then eventually, when you get into like the real bowels of this asylum, like these guys don't even have clothes on anymore. They're just walking around naked, and they're all like super scary. And they are absolutely a threat, and it's all about hiding. And it's just every time you get under a bed to hide, you're worried that they're going to find you, because sometimes they will and sometimes they won't.
great.
It is like just, it's insane. It's absolutely insane, and they don't pull any punches in this game. You are beaten and brutalized, and you're tortured. And by the end of the game, which by the way, the ending sucks, so play it for the experience. You're like limping around by the end of the game, because you're just a tortured person.
No, what was this for again? This was
So I think it was originally on PC, and then of course I played it on PS4, and it's out for Xbox One as well.
oh okay.
There's
I'll check that out.
there's this little DLC that gives you another story, and then also Outlast 2, I believe, is coming in 2017. There's a demo out right now, I believe, on both consoles if you want to check it out.
Oh, sounds good.
Yeah, this is a fantastic game. I was very excited to play this.
So I have an honorable mention left.
Oh, good.
I feel bad making this an honorable mention, because this is something that should probably have its own episode and may in the future. I think I've sort of slowly gone up from Limbo to Amnesia to Dead Space, getting more and more complex. One word I had forgotten, I was trying to remember: strategic dismemberment.
Okay.
That's actually in the one of the design themes for Dead Space. Strategic dismemberment.
Okay,
that's actually.
Is that a buzzword they use?
Yes, it is actually, amongst themselves. But, anyways, we're going to more and more complex, to more and more sort of traditional shooter type games, I guess, as we go through.
Sure.
I'm
going to
get to
big time.
to get to the big daddy of them all. Huh? Bioshock.
Of course.
The Bioshock series. Now, I know Bioshock 2 has its lovers and has reasons to like it, but I think that's more of an outlier. For me, it's Bioshock and Bioshock Infinite.
Well, the only two that were actually made by Irrational.
Which also, yes.
Right.
If you haven't played these yet, you're watching the wrong channel, I guess.
And if you haven't played them yet, then they were just recently remastered in
That's
HD.
true. Yes.
For your current gen consoles.
Very easy to pick them up.
All 3 for $60.
Yeah.
Go do it.
Do it. Absolutely do it. This is... What do you say about Bioshock? You want to talk about immersion and ambiance, and dread, and just getting thrown into the situation where you have to figure things out, and going from being unreliable. Well, the unreliable narrator is a common trope in this kind of story, and you literally have that. You have your voice, Atlas. Hey, that name's coming up again. Who's asking you to kindly do things for you.
Would you kindly?
Would you kindly? No spoilers, damn it.
No, sorry. Again, if you haven't played it, where the hell have you been?
Yeah.
This game's amazing. I don't even like Infinite very much, but I loved the original Bioshock. It was just an absolute classic.
Yeah, you can't beat the atmosphere, just the Reavers? Yeah. Reapers.
Slicers.
Oh my gosh. I'm thinking of yes, splicers.
Splicers.
We are gaming professionals.
Leave a comment below telling us how much you ate us.
Hey, Reavers. I was thinking Firefly, so geeks. I was even being geekier.
What are Reapers?
Reapers. I don't know what Reapers are. But anyways,
yeah. Oh, that's infamous.
My
goodness.
We're just running around. You hear their crazy giggling or laughing. All of a sudden, okay, I'm going to die. I don't know how, but I know how. I just don't know when. And then the first time you see a Baghdadi.
Yep.
And you've come from a lifetime of gaming where it's a big monster. I can just no, you can't. No, you cannot. Nope. They are just gonna kill you in awful ways.
And they are big. The name is not inappropriate. And when they come at you, it's this environment shaking. Thuds on the ground, do, and you're just like, oh my god, what do I do? And you never know what to do because all the big daddies are different. Yeah. It's sort of like fighting Mega Man bosses in 3D.
Well, I was just about to say, it's the way a boss battle would really feel if you were, you play whatever game, I got to figure out this boss.
Yeah.
You never actually think about what would that actually feel to be this little tiny guy against Bioshock. Gives you that feeling.
Yeah.
Now, I know you said you don't like Bioshock Infinite so much. Bioshock Infinite, its creepiness, its scariness comes from the contrast between the environment you're seeing, where everything is gorgeous and beautiful and idyllic, to just you get a sense of the twisting kind of evil that's behind everything. And it's a little more subtle in that way. Eventually becomes much, much less subtle.
Yeah.
But I think...
it's Columbia versus Rapture. And Rapture is just so perfectly done that just the environment alone is enough of not an enemy, but a scare factor.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Anyone who feels even the tiniest bit claustrophobic to live in a city under the sea, terrifying.
If only there were a game where you could get some of the gameplay and feeling... an experience they had in Bioshock Infinite, but in the environment of Rapture.
Oh, what? What are we talking about?
Well, there was a DLC for Bioshock Infinite called Beyond the Sea, which was exactly that. Booker and Elizabeth head back to Rapture. It ends up being a prequel. And actually, I think out of all of these experiences, I think it's the best of both worlds. It's a few times where DLC is actually worth getting.
So here's the deal. By the time I got to the end of Infinite, I kind of hated it. And the last thing I want to do is download more DLC and spend more time. And of course, I love Raptors, so I should have given it a shot. Yeah. But I was just kind of done. So no offense to the series, but I just...
So Bioshock thumb...
Yeah, one thumb up, one thumb down. But Bioshock 1, we definitely give it 14 thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay.
So, God, I can't believe we're running low on time again. All right, so I might make this one quick. This is not an honorable mention, but this is something I wanted to talk about. It was Fatal Frame.
Yes.
So Fatal Frame got three releases, Fatal Frame 1, 2, and 3, on the PlayStation 2. Some of it got onto Xbox as well.
Brian likes camera games.
Yeah. Did I talk about another camera game?
Yeah, Outlast.
Oh, yeah. Camcorder.
Camcorder.
Well, the camera in this game is actually... So the first one came out in 2002, and I am in the minority when I say it's my favorite one. Most people will say 2 or 3 is their favorite. But this is... So I think this is such a different game than any of the ones we're talking about because it is so Japanese in its storytelling, in its environments, in its aesthetics, in its even characters. Everything is so Japanese that I can't believe it even made it here. I can't believe it didn't get rewritten and re-everythinged because you're marketing to a very small audience that goes, oh, I love Japanese culture. I love Japanese scary movies.
Well, that's what I was saying. There are a lot of cues that are very specific to Japanese culture, and it's. You do, I mean, if you really want to get the full experience of it and you're not kind of a Japan nerd, have Wikipedia open so you can reference things because there's a lot going on that if you're not, it's just like, oh, that was weird. But
the one, Fatal Frame 1, is the least offender of the group. When you get into 2 and 3, it's almost too Japanese history heavy.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's fine. If you
Otaku
like...
Unite.
If you like Japanese scary movies, like The Ring was based on Ringu, which is a famous Japanese series, and so if you've seen The Ring, you get an idea of like what to expect.
Yeah.
So this is a third-person adventure game. I'm only going to talk about the first one because, like I said, it's my favorite. But you do play as a young girl. Again, scary because you feel a little unprotected.
Yeah.
And you're going in search of your missing brother. Now, when you get to the house where he's said to have disappeared in, I think this is where you find the camera obscura, which is basically it's your weapon in the game. You go from third person to putting the camera in front of your face and going into first person mode. And anytime you see a ghost, whether it be a harmful ghost or a not harmful ghost, you have to capture it with the camera obscura. Now, if it's a harmful ghost, you got to take many pictures of it. And the fatal frame shot is when you find its weak spot and you take that fatal frame photograph and you kill the ghost. You kill what's already dead. But there are also these, and I think these are my real favorite ghosts in the game. They're ones that you might not even notice. Like something will move or something, and there'll be a visual cue, or you'll just see the ghost briefly. And this is your only chance in the game to switch into the camera mode, take a picture of it, and it's kind of like a collectible.
Yeah.
Right? But they're scary as hell
catch
sometimes.
them all.
Exactly. Yeah. But they're scary as hell sometimes. So sometimes the jump scare makes you forget to take the camera out. You're like, oh, geez. And then you're like, oh, shoot, I missed it. And if you miss it, that was your only chance.
That's it.
That was
There's
it.
no going back.
Yeah. So it's in the ghosts that are harmful to you, they're just terrifying. They chase you relentlessly, and the noises and the visual. It's not cheesy at all. It's terrifying.
No, it was especially for its time. This is another one where you can go back, and I'd say it with some. All right, maybe it doesn't totally hold up to current gen, but you get so again immersed in what's happening that you lose track of like, okay, well maybe it's the animation's a little clunky, but it doesn't matter because again you're trapped. I think the switch from the third person to first person is so creative because you get to see even if you're not totally immersed in the character, you're watching it happen to her. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, boom, you're right in it.
Absolutely.
Because the switch to the first person. So jumping back and forth like that, I think is what makes it so jarring when the events happen, when the ghost pops up out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, like, just for historical context, when the PlayStation 2 came around, we were all waiting for that, next Resident Evil game. And we got a port of the Dreamcast Code Veronica, but we didn't get like a this is our next gen Resident Evil. And then we got Fatal Frame, and I remember when that game started, I had the exact same experience as I did with Dead Space. I was like, oh my god, I can play. This game's beautiful. Yeah. And I know, again, like, everyone has their own thoughts on the matter. I thought it looked better than most people did. Very limited color palette and just really artistic.
But that's a choice. Yeah. Again, it's not. They didn't use.
Oh, I give it when I say limited color palette, I give it a thumbs up.
Yeah. No, it's okay.
Yeah. Okay, now I have one more that I want to talk about.
Absolutely.
Okay, and this is an honorable mention.
Time to talk about my shirt.
Oh yeah, well, we'll finish with that. If you left a comment last week, maybe you already know what Dez's shirt was about. But the final game I want to talk about, there's actually a review of this on Without Parole Games, youtube.com/Without Parole Games. It's kind of amazing. It's called Emily Wants to Play, and it is a $5 budget downloadable game for Xbox One and PS4. reeks of low budget.
Yeah.
You are in a first-person mode. It feels like Gone Home, but it's actually a scary game. No spoilers there. You're a pizza delivery
I think
guy.
somebody just got burned.
Well, no, Gone Home's not supposed to be scary. Well, for the first half hour, you're always thinking it might be.
Oh.
I mean, come on. Can we give Gone Home spoilers at this point? Jesus, it's been years. So you're a pizza delivery guy.
Okay.
You go in, door locks behind you, and you are stuck in this house. Now, for the first part of the game, you will hear like children laughing. You'll hear like clowns laughing. You'll hear like all these creepy noises.
We like clowns.
And the great thing is you end up going into the kitchen, and have you ever ordered a pizza online? You can actually track its delivery to your house.
Yes.
So there's a laptop that's open that's now tracked you to the house because you're the pizza delivery guy.
Okay.
It's super creepy.
Yeah.
It'd be like somebody was here and they ordered this pizza, but there's no one here.
And they're gone now.
Yeah. So the crazy thing is that during the first segment of this game, you will die so many times, and you won't even know why because you haven't learned the rules of the game yet.
Okay.
And I'm not even going to give you the rules of the game because I think that's part of the game experience. It's terrifying to learn, but when you die, I swear, I almost had a heart attack every single time I died because it is so. It's just scary as all hell. You don't see it coming, and you just see this crazy image attacking you, and you're done. And it's like,
and you're just a pizza guy, man.
When I say jump scare, this is the biggest jump scare ever. I made it. I died 3 times, and I had to turn the game off. I was like, this is ridiculous. I think I might die of an actual real heart attack.
Oh wow!
A very similar experience with Jeremy and Michelle, our co-hosts on the Midnight Games Cast. They both played the game multiple times. They both thought they were going to have a heart attack because it is absolutely scary. For $5, it's probably the best scary game you can download for the price.
You can't get wrong. I mean, that's going to be a movie ticket.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
And game time, like how long do you...
you can blast through it in just like maybe 2 hours.
Okay. Well, for $5, I mean...
Yeah, not even 2 hours. But it's that same thing with Limbo. The death by... Trial by death.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what it is. You learn how to survive by dying constantly.
Okay. Which it is weird. Like saying it like that, it's like, wow, that doesn't sound fun at all. But it really is.
If you like to be, if you like to be creeped out, if you like to be scared, which if you're watching this episode, you probably do. These games are perfect for you.
Yeah.
And Emily wants to play. The greatest thing about this is it scares me to death when I'm playing on a flat screen HD television. VR support is coming. I think that's where the real heart attack happens.
Yeah, so Des wants to play, Emily wants to play. Nice.
I think we need to discuss what's going on with this shirt.
Yeah, so real quick, if you have figured this out, this is I kind of wore this specifically because this is something that's really, really scary in a place where nothing should be scary. This is, for those of you who don't know, XS Tech was the company that created, the fictional company featured in the Walt Disney World attraction Alien Encounter. Now, Alien Encounter, sadly, is no more. It's been converted into Stitch's Great Escape, and rumor is it's going to be taken out very, very soon.
Stitch's Great Escape, like Lilo and Stitch?
Yes. So, the original Alien Encounter, first of all, you invent a animatronic voiced by Tim Curry. Awesome. You ended up going into this sort of theater in the round thing, and you know something's different because you sit down, and all of a sudden, you're in a room, shoulder restraints drop down on you.
Oh boy.
Then the whole idea is they're teleporting in this, monster to show off their new teleporting technology. They teleport the wrong thing, it escapes, and escapes out into the room. Then, all the lights go out. Completely. This is the darkest dark room you've ever been in.
Can you snap again to turn the lights back on? Thank you. I was getting real scared.
And using, binaural audio and all the other cool tricks, I mean, it feels like the monster is just like breathing on your shoulder, and you can actually feel, because those shoulder restraints aren't restraints. It jumps on your shoulders at one point. It spits acid, and it's just wonderfully terrifying. And of course, even being someone, I think actually it's more enjoyable having been someone who has been on the ride before, because when the scares are coming, and you can just hear like the wave of screams move around the room. It was a fantastic thing. It was like the most non-Disney thing ever. Horrifically terrifying. And of course, they had to get rid of it because people were, even though it said this is intense and scary, don't bring your kids onto this, people of course would drag their 3-year-olds on.
Of course they did.
And then they tried to make it a little nicer with Stitch's Great Escape, but it was still the same core concept. It's dark, we're going to scare you.
Oh.
And yeah, it still used Stitch, so it was a little, when he jumped on your shoulder, he wasn't like breathing, going to kill you. It was like, ooh, hey, how you doing, in Stitch voice. But it was still pretty intense and scary.
I wish I could have been around for the original one.
It was great.
Nice.
It was a great set, and now it's gone. Anyways, so those of you who got this, yes, you can join pour one out for excess tech. Seize the future.
We hope everyone had a awesome and safe Halloween.
With a nice non sequitur ending.
We hope you watched plenty of Nightmare Before Christmas and sang along with Danny Elfman songs.
That soundtrack has been on repeat in the car for the past 2 weeks.
The sad thing is when this video goes up, it will mark the end of the greatest month of the year, October. This will be up early November. It's very, we're sad to see you go. We can't wait for you to be back next year.
Yay.
That said, on to happier and better things. I think next week we'll talk a little bit about things that are not just fine.
They're double fine!
For Gaming Without Parole, I'm Brian Paul.
I'm Dezrah Blinn.
You're fired. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.